Hey fellas, Rusty coming at you. Today we're going to take a peek at a Schatt Morgan knife. So Schatt Morgan company has a wonderful history as an old and quality knife maker. Now somewhere then throughout history, I want to say 70s or 80s, I think I might find out here in a minute, Queen cutlery started making them. Queen, I'm not sure. I've seen Queen steel. I see Queen cutlery, Queen city. See all kinds of variations. So I'm not sure at the time, but I know that this one was made in 2014, and it's from the Schatt Morgan, what they're called the file and wire series. So the file and wire refers to testing the steel. You can see the file and wire Schatt Morgan tested. So maybe you've seen Forge and Fire, and they'll take a file after they forge it and they'll rub it on here, and if the file scrapes, they have a hard, their steel has hardened. And what they'll do then, according to this legend here, so they'll hammer it through a strip of wire, sort of like maybe like a nail, and that will tell them, they'll look at the edge, if the edge rolled or chipped or cracked, what kind of toughness they got. So when you're doing your knives, you want your knife to be both hard but tough. And the reason for that, the harder it is, generally the better it will hold an edge, unless you get it too hard and it becomes brittle. So enough about that lesson. This particular one is a gunstock pattern. Hopefully you can see that. If you guys are following me, you'll know what a gunstock pattern is. And this is done in ATS 34 steel. And I did a Robeson canoe that I showed, and it had ATS 34 steel. And one of the commenters, my viewers, said, "That's an exotic steel, isn't it?" And although I don't call it an exotic steel, I do agree that it is kind of rare. So let's talk about the ATS 34 just for a second, but we're looking at the top wedges here and the mirrored polish, as well as if there's any stepping, which on this one there is. And this particular knife has super strong springs, so we'll also talk about that. But it's centered here. This is called a worm groove jigging. Check out my case, Stockman with worm groove jigging. I'm going to show it just real quick. If you haven't seen that, gorgeous knife. So I like the worm groove on that. This one is good. This knife is heavy. Okay, so I carried this knife and this pouch, which you can get from my buddy Tang Lee. I'll put a description if you guys. These things are like 13 bucks, and they're genuine leather. They're soft, they're supple. But this was pulling my pants down. It weighs like almost 6 ounces. Well, we're showing off the bone. The fit and finish on this is great. The centering is good. The springs are strong. What this particular one is lacking is, I wouldn't say it has great travel, because I feel drag, and it even wants to break my nails. And I think part of that, take a look at this thumbnail here, and when you pull on it, you kind of, the way you have to pull in that direction instead of that direction, because when you pull, yeah, it kind of fights you. And then you get up here, and then it's just ratty-tatty-tatty, and then we go and listen to this. Okay, now that's gives the impression that it has good walk and talk. So hopefully we'll stick around and we'll discuss that some more. But we're going to do some comparison knives. So real quick, this is a pretty big knife. It's called a pint trapper, by the way. They do make a quart, and I'll show that to you in a second. But this knife comes to us, well, I forget. I know some of you guys can love to figure it out, so we'll give you a shot. The tank stamp. This is a large saddle horn, so we'll take a peek at those. And this particular clip point, you got quite a spay blade on there. And this one, yeah, okay. Not sure where I ended up when I was talking about the ATS-34. It's a Japanese steel. It's a lot like 154 CM. 154 CM is an American steel, and it's pretty high carbon. It has at least 1% carbon. And in the case of 154, they use molybdenum, I want to say, to make the hardness of their 154 harder than 440C. Now, I love 440C, but I like 154 better. So the ATS-34 is the same. It's just a Japanese steel. It's a little variant. You guys would sharpen it, should sharpen easy, and I would sharpen it to a coarse edge. At least with my 154, I get more, what do you want to say, bite and performance out of that. So actually now this case is a big knife, and it weighs about the same as this particular knife. So walk and talk on this is a bit disappointing. Well, let's just compare it to a standard trapper. This is your amber in peach seed jigging. Oh, I got some ticked off crows. Woo! That's your amber. Oh, here's a case knife you can pay about 120 bucks for, and I think I paid north of 150, maybe like 170 for this Schatt Morgan. Those Schatt Morgans just bring a good dollar amount. So that's your case select with Rogers jigging in Bermuda green. And let's see, much better travel. The, what are we gonna call that? You know, the nail clip, which you can see is doing a number right here. Okay, so there we go. I'm gonna hit the pause so I can collect my paperwork, and we'll show you that video. And we're back. Hopefully we got our stuff together. We'll put these away and stick around on this part of the video if you want to know a little bit of the history of this knife here. So from the 2014 catalog, Queen catalog, here we go. It says the old English cutlers called the feel of the blade tang against the backspring the walk. So when we go like so, and ready, you'll hear the snap. That's the walk. That's how that feels, okay? And the crisp snap of the blade closing with, when properly fitted, the talk. Okay. Okay, so there's the talk. So I agree the walk and talk is good. I just don't know that the travel in between. Oh, the walk and talk is a familiar term at Queen today. An art that is becoming rarer and rarer with the move by many manufacturers to produce springless locking liner knives. That would be modern knife, which has a clink. So anyways, all right, the cutler sound can still be heard today within these walls. Queen Cutlery has improved and modernized the materials. They got better steel, stronger handle materials, more durable knives, but they have kept the tradition of craftsmanship and quality that remains unchanged as it was since those first knives that were made in here so long ago. This legacy predates even Queen Cutlery. The factory's first tenant of 507 Chestnut Street was the Schatt Morgan cutlery. So I guess Queen is making knives in the original Schatt Morgan, if that's what that says. All right, so let's talk about this particular knife right here. Let's see. John Schatt. Let's see. Maybe what I'll do is just take a picture, or I'll hold this out if anybody wants to. You see the names Catarugas in there. You see the names Platts, Little Valley, Gowanda. So we see a lot. Now this is a quart. Okay, mine's a quart bone stock, gunstock jack, number 42014. What do we got? So it's a quart. I'll show you in a second. Brass liners, stainless steel pins or springs, nickel pins, nickel. Overall length 7.5, closed length 4 1/4. That's trapper size. Blade length 3 3/8. Blade thickness 0.91. Blade steel ATS 34. Hardness is 58 to 59. Has a clip and a spade blade, and it weighs 6.1 ounces. And they also made, now this is what confuses me. All right, I really think mine's a pint. So the pint is in bone, and this is, oh my. Then they have a pint in stag. So well, these ones are only 3 ounces, and they're only 3 5/8. That's more like a mini trapper, I guess. Oh, and then we have a quart stag. Okay, so mine is a quart, but mine is not the stag. This one would have been in D2. So here's, you get would have had 2 pints and 2 quarts. 1 quart in stag, 1 quart in the worm groove. All of them had the ATS 34. And I don't know if we have any retail prices on these from the catalog or not. So anyways, guys, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. I'm sure it's a long video. I thank you guys for joining me. Bye.